Hello, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Deep Conversations Only. And today we have with us Mrs. Neetu Javle, who is a life coach, and her expertise is in relationships. So today we will learn from her that what are the bases on which our relationships are made in the world, how to keep a relationship healthy, and a lot more. So let's get into the podcast. My first question to you is that what is the difference between a life coach and a therapist? Because I know a lot of people these days are looking forward to life coaches, but at the same time, there's some kind of confusion or some kind of awareness which is lacking. So, for the audience, if
Yes.
you would first like to tell us.
Okay. Hi, good morning, everyone. And I'm Neetu Javle. I'm a life coach, and my expertise is into relationships. So the question is about difference between a therapist and a life coach. Life coach, when you go to a life coach, you will not have ready-made solutions. Like you go with a problem, and they will come up with your ready-made platter. And okay, do you do this? And this is going to work it out. Life coaching is more about it's about a process where we take time, we take a certain duration, because it's about changing habits, changing patterns, and I believe we all have everything in within ourselves. It is not like we have to find something externally, or we will get something outside. We
Yeah.
all have within us. It's just life coaches help you to navigate you to get those things, and they will just set up a process for you which will eventually help you get your goals.
All right. Okay. Apart from that, I'd like to ask that when you talk about relationships, what makes a relationship healthy, or what is the foundation of a relationship?
See, I think the basic ingredient of any relationship, in so far what I have learned is we need to trust each other, and above all, there should be respect in a relationship. If
Absolutely.
we don't respect if there is no respect in a relationship, the other things don't matter in the long run, because that is the basic foundation of any strong and healthy relationship. And I
Yes.
believe love is a consequence of trust and respect.
I absolutely agree. This is something which I always tell, and this is something I realized at a very young age because I realized that to be able to actually love somebody, even unconditionally, the first step
Correct.
of it begins with respect. Because unless you
Yes.
admire someone's character and the values that they stand for, you would not
Yes.
be able to give your best in that relationship. So I completely agree that the respect is the foundation of every relationship. So, um, the next question is that how much of a role is it that what relationship we have with ourselves contribute to the relationships that we have with people?
Oh, that's a very good question, Surbi. Actually, I mean, I would love to answer this because actually it is the relationship with your own self which defines all other relationships. I always say, since I am an engineer by education, so I always say it is directly proportional to it.
Yeah.
The great you have relationship with yourself, you will see all your relationships happening around you in that manner. So that is very important, and that is very crucial for any relationship. You need to first define what is your relationship with yourself.
So how do we define that? How do we know that what kind of relationship we have with ourselves? Is it positive or is it negative? Is it healthy or
Yes.
unhealthy? Yeah.
So, generally, if you see your daily activities, you just, what kind of talk you have with yourself, what kind of, friends you have around, what kind of
Yeah.
environment you have been into. There are also some psychometric tests where you can actually check your awareness, self-awareness, how much you say, how much you love yourself, how much you validate yourself. So there are a lot of processes basically, which involve all these things to determine all these things. You can ask your coaches, you can ask your mentors, you can ask your people, you can ask some near and dear ones about the feedback. How are you processing as an individual? That's very important to determine first, because if you are not able to determine, you will not be able to eventually work on it.
Okay. So, any tools or any tips through which we can self analyze on a very practical basis? One is, of course, to keep a check on how the internal talk is, if it is positive or
Yes,
negative, and
yes.
if any other tips that you have for us to do on a regular
See,
basis, any
if you,
practices.
it is all about your habits at the end of the day. What are you practicing on a daily level? See, if you're spending time with your own self without any distractions, distractions with there's no mobile phone, no
Yeah.
TV, no screens at all, no people also. Like when you're spending time with your own self, you come to a lot of realizations. You come to a lot of understanding about your own self. So that's very important if you're spending a lot of time with your own, which is very rare nowadays. People
Yeah.
can't spend time with themselves. They get scared. They don't know how to do it basically.
Yeah.
So if you're meditating on a regular basis, if you're exercising on a regular basis, if you're decluttering your mind on a regular basis, there are so many factors which adds to that. But basically is first you need to be aware where you are, how much progress you need to do in this process. What are the tools which are going to help you in this
Yeah.
process? You need to have a better understanding at the beginning.
All right. So, as much as I've understood, if we are doing the things which actually enhance our life, that means we really love
Yes,
ourselves. Because unless we take the
yes,
right step towards our well being, we will
yeah,
not be able to tell that, we love ourselves. So, for example, I know that, meditation is tough for me and it is tough for
mm,
everyone because we are constantly, our mind is stimulated. But every day, if
yes.
I'm still sitting and through that struggle, because I know it is eventually going to give results and it is going to be affecting my overall well-being, that is love. Am I right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's one way of looking at it. Self love doesn't mean, just only validating your strengths.
Yeah.
Self love is also about embracing your
Your weaknesses.
negatives.
Yeah.
It's like, accepting the way you are and the way you are not. It's
Yeah.
not about, proving your point or proving your worth to the rest of the world. It's about you and you only. So it's just about the way you have been brought up, the way you have done things so far. There is lot of validation of course comes from the external side,
Yeah.
but how do we see ourselves? That's very important.
Yeah.
Are we being kind to ourselves? Are we being critical to ourselves? That's very important at the end of the day. How do
Yeah.
you see yourself?
Yeah.
If you are a kind person, if you feel you're a kind person, the world will see you as a kind person. Like it's exactly like that. It's the kind of energy you give outside of you.
Absolutely. I was yesterday hearing an interview from Priyanka Chopra, and she said that, nobody is born with confidence, but how
Yes,
you see yourself is how your reality will be created, and people around you also are going to just give you the same feedback that you already have decided for yourself in your mind. So,
absolutely, absolutely.
I think this is absolutely right that we need to be able to accept our strength as well as weaknesses. But
Weaknesses.
what I've personally realized is when we accept our strengths, it becomes naturally very easy for us to accept our weaknesses. The only time when we are
Yes.
not able to accept our weaknesses is because we feel that somewhere, we don't have enough strength,
Mm.
and if you're going to accept our weaknesses, it will just your overall esteem, self-esteem just drops. But a person who is aware of his strengths, it takes very less effort for them to also accept their weaknesses because they know that they have something which is good as well. So I think
Yeah,
each one of us
everybody.
each one of us should
Yes.
reflect on the kind of qualities that we have and the kind of strengths that we have, and eventually then also figure out the weaknesses.
Yes, absolutely. Like see, we are a bundle of positives and negatives. Nobody is perfect. Perfection, I believe, is a myth.
Yeah.
It's not. Until you don't have anything to look forward to or evolve or progress in life.
Yeah,
then it will become a dead end. You are not going to
absolutely.
evolve as a person. So I think your negatives, your weaknesses are instrumental in, making you.
Yeah.
They show you the real way of, handling it. They show you, they are, I think, the best things in your life, because I always believe my weaknesses always push me ahead in my life.
Absolutely.
They make me do some things which I am, which I am not, which I feel I'm limited in a lot of ways. They push my limits, they push my envelope, they push me overall. My growth is only dependent on my weaknesses.
Absolutely. I think how unfulfilling that life would be when we don't have anything to overcome.
Yes,
So, perfection
yes,
is, any which ways, a very sad ending to life. I think nobody should be
yes,
perfect, because then
yes,
the what would we chase at all in life if we all are perfect just the way we are? There should be something that we are not chasing. Chasing sounds a very negative word, but something we look forward to, as you said, and something in which we want to progress, and on a daily basis we put in efforts in order to grow. So I think that's a beautiful thing, that nobody is perfect, and that is how it is supposed to be.
And I would like to add one more thing in this.
Yeah.
Perfection is relative. There is no, fixed definition of being a perfect. Perfection is always according to the person, because it's his idea of her idea of perfection is what that person is. It is not actually about the whole
Yeah,
world or people around you. So
absolutely.
if you take that into picture, it's not going to work in the long run, because it's all about yourself and your idea of it. It's not the reality, basically.
The beliefs that you've been holding and the kind of
Yes,
things that
yes, yes,
you
yes,
want in your reality through the lens of those
yes,
beliefs. Okay.
yes, 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 yes.
All right. So, how do we know? So, one thing is that we go internal and we find out our beliefs, our patterns, our conditionings.
Mm.
And the other thing is that our outside also reflects our internal, right? So, we
Yes,
can also take feedback from the outside, because sometimes it may be difficult for
absolutely.
us to, go internal and process things, but our outside is a direct feedback that we are receiving from life. So, in
Yes,
that case,
yes.
what are some of the indications that we should know that okay, my life is going in a progressive direction, it's going on a healthy direction with respect to how my beliefs are made, or there's some kind of resistance which I'm seeing, and how do I resolve that?
See, it's a very simple process, Survey. You can do it on a daily basis. I do it on a daily basis. When I go to sleep, I ask few questions to myself, because the parameters I have set for myself.
Yeah.
So I ask, like, was it a peace? Because peace comes in a, it's my top priority in my life. That is non-negotiable for me. So whatever I want to do, it has to be peaceful. It has to be, very calm. Because it has to be with ease and grace.
Yes.
So that is my, idea of, having a fulfilled life. So
Yes.
I asked certain questions, to myself. Was it a peaceful day? Did I learn something from what did I learn? There's a set of things I ask myself every day before sleep.
Hmm.
Sometimes we write gratitude journals also,
Yeah.
and we realize a lot of stuff which we don't talk about, in a daily life. So that is very important, because talking to self and realizing and how far you have reached, how what are the measures you need to take,
Yes.
in the coming days. So that self evaluation is very important on a daily level.
Absolutely. I think I was going through your page and I came across this quote which I really, really liked, where you said that peace is the constant state of acceptance. And that is something which completely resonated with my being, because I've always realized that it is pointless to fight with life. So, in case
Yes,
if you're life shows you a difficult situation, just accept it in that moment and the solution will gradually appear. So
yes,
acceptance
yes,
is through the acceptance is that place through which we can very swiftly take the boat of our life. So,
Yes, absolutely.
on that note, I wanted to ask that what are some of the signs of a healthy relationship, and how can we maintain a healthy relationship in the longer run?
See, you're asking some amazing questions, Survi. So this is like this I do on a daily basis, but I really want to convey this to the people. Relationships are not what happened to you before you started them. It is
Okay.
all about what you're doing to them later.
Okay.
So relationships is a very it's an evolving process. There is no destination in relationship. You can every day work on it. You can give something to your relationship every day, and you will eventually get it, because I think it's a giver's game, you know,
Yeah.
in the end. So if you start giving in your relationships unconditionally, you will ultimately receive what all you have expected. But at the same time, I would certainly want to, point out that in any relationship, in healthy relationship, communication is the key. If you don't communicate your fears, if you don't communicate what you're feeling and your what you're going through on a regular basis to your partner, or to anybody who is, with whom you want to have a healthy relationship, it becomes, it doesn't work for a long time otherwise, because communication is not about you talking and other person listening. Communication
Yes.
is more about, you also listening and understanding the other person's context, their perspective. So if you know about each other's world completely, and
Hmm.
it doesn't mean you are going to have all beautiful days. There will be little struggles, there will be maybe bigger struggles also, but then when you are at sync with each other, it will not be difficult for you to, pass those obstacles in your way. Because
Yeah.
if, as you must have heard, obstacle is the way, in every problem you have a solution. It
Mm.
is your perspective which makes it, where, visible, whatever you feel, whatever you're feeling in that process.
Mm.
Because generally we get overwhelmed, we get, we don't like the process of being pressured or being in a problem. We just want to run away, or we don't want to get away from it. But
Mm.
if you just stand still and just calm yourself in any type of situation which is giving you pressure, so you just ask certain questions to yourself, I think you'll definitely find your way in that, because that is the place where you have your way out. There's no other place where you can find the way out.
On that note, I'd like to again quote one of your quotes because I was actually
Okay.
binge reading your
Thank you
quotes
so
because I
much.
was
That's
because I really like them, and there was so much to take away on few lines that I was absorbing them. One of the quotes that you wrote, that relationships evolve when we respect the patterns of both the variables involved. And I think it's so important for us to not just accept the person that we are with today, but also the background with which the person comes and everything, and how
yes,
the mind of that person works, because only then we will be actually able to understand what the person,
yes,
what are the pain points of the person and what are the strengths of the person, and how do we have to communicate in the right way, so that whatever that we are saying is received from the same intention as we are trying to convey. So that is very very important. So how do we but sometimes I feel that in a relationship the other person may not be so self aware that they know about their conditioning and their patterns. So in that case, how can we help them, and how can we decode their patterns and our patterns as well, so that there's a harmony and we are able to understand each other?
yes. It's again, like I'm really loving your questions, basically. So, see, when let me tell you about little bit about myself. I am a Kashmiri girl by birth. Like my origin is Kashmir, but I'm married in a Maharashtrian family. So when I got married, so I had my own share of struggles, because the environment different, people were different, language was different, everything was so different.
Absolutely.
And it took me pretty much time to understand, to accept a lot of things in my life. there was a time when I used to feel, what happens in our family. That means my mother's side. That is perfect. That was my idea of being having a perfect life. But
Yes.
it took me a lot of time to understand, what are the positives, what I'm seeing in my in-laws life. They have a different life. It took me a lot of time to resonate with their life. So when eventually I did, so I could see a perfect balance in my life, because I could take out a lot of good things from my mother's side, and there are a lot of good things in my from my in-laws
In-law
side.
side.
So there was a perfect balance, because ultimately it's all about, how to create balance. It is never that you have everything good in one side and all bad at one side. It's just your perspective and your understanding of, each other. And I am all for it, that it takes time, because there's a lot to take for a girl when she moves from one place to another. Her whole world changes. And I would actually, request all the senior people, senior citizens, if they are listening, please support your, new person, who is coming in. Make her, a
Yeah.
new part of your family. Just
Family.
accept her the way he is. It's a mutual process at the end of the day. I took pretty much 15 years to actually um, address my feelings, to tell my in-laws, to tell my husband what I feel about the whole thing. And when we
Yes.
actually talked about it, when we understood each other's word, it became so simple for us, you know
Yeah.
to have a healthy relationship. Like, now if we don't talk for a week, it doesn't matter, because we understand each other's world. We don't need to explain to each other. We don't need to justify each other. So that's very important. The foundation is very important. If the foundation is clear, you have made a base where you respect each other and you
Yes.
trust each other, and eventually that works wonders for you. That's what I think.
I think this reminds me of this one thing that I always, say to myself when I am in a situation of crisis and I'm not able to understand. I always tell myself that, you know, whatever the other person is doing is right for them. Otherwise, they would not do it.
Yes.
So it's better to accept from where they are coming and not try to fight it, but rather just explain that, you could be coming from two different places, but it's okay. Both of you are right in your own way, because otherwise, there's nobody who can say that, I knew that I was wrong, but I still continued doing it, right? Everybody in that moment, whatever that they are doing, that is right for them. Otherwise, they would
Yes.
not do it. So I think what's important is to convey and to communicate, as you said, and to also understand their story. I think that makes
Yes.
things very, very easy. And another thing is, which I would want you to talk about, is that sometimes in life we feel that, we are part of a situation which is which can seem a little unfair. We feel that why did it had to happen with me, or we might feel, for example, in a lot of relationships, even in the parent child dynamics, there's a lot of conditioning that we receive from the childhood, and which might not serve us as we grow up and we realize that these are few things that we picked up during our childhood and we have to let go of them. However, in that process of letting go, there's some kind of grudge, or there's some kind of pain that the child holds towards the parent. So how would you recommend in that dynamic to for the child to forgive and accept and let go of the conditioning?
See, I personally strongly believe, your children don't listen to what you tell them. Your children just watch you all
Watch
the
you.
time, whatever, like. It's not about preaching to children. It's about, walking the talk. If
Yeah.
you want something your child should do, first you need to do yourself. You need to see how hard it is,
Yes.
for a child, to go through that process. So again, it's about, having a healthy relationship with your child. It doesn't mean you cannot disagree with each other. It doesn't mean you cannot say no to each other. It does mean you have to respect each other's boundaries. Like, there are times children would be probably unfair in their attitude or in their communication, because they don't know the right way. They are just growing, they are just young minds. There is lot which is happening in their life, their hormones are at, their peak, and they are entering into a new world where they have to be, independent, responsible. A lot of challenges are outside. The world is not so fair to them. They see
Yes.
it that way,
Yes.
and parents are the only place where they can come out and be themselves. And even if they are nagging, even if they are, nudging, and even if they are complaining, but that is the place they want to be. They are safe, they know they will be taken care of. But eventually, I believe it is your relationship with your child which matters in the end. They may be, they may be, a little sad, or maybe, they are not right at that moment. But eventually, it is your upbringing, it is your conditioning which matters. Like, they will come on the right track. It may take a day, it may take a week, it may take a month. But if you think you have done the right thing while, raising them up, and they will eventually be, they will carry your values only. They are not going to do something different. They will do what you have done in your life.
Absolutely. That's what you realize after you grow up. That's what, I always explain it to my dad that, as a kid, uh, we used to feel that, you are being too strict, or, this is not right. Everybody else is, doing whatever that they want. But at our home, discipline was a very core thing, and it still is.
Mm.
But I've realized now, as I grew up, that how essential it was for us to have that kind of discipline, and that to have
Yes.
that kind of environment. Because you eventually, when you go out in the world and you see people doing whatever that they want, and you have your values, I think it becomes very easy for you to navigate through the tough times, because you have certain set of values that are always backing you
Yes.
up.
Yes. Correct.
Yes. So my next question is that this is how we understand that sometimes, parents need to understand. But however, on the other hand, we also see families in which the parent gets really toxic for the child, and that's what the child realize eventually as they grow up. Because at the end of the day, even the child needs to go out and experience things for themselves. But sometimes the overprotective nature of the parents might create certain problems for the child in order to grow fully on their own. So, on that note, what would you recommend to create a healthy boundary within relationships, so that the relationships do not get disturbed or they do not get spoiled, but at the same time, there are certain boundaries that we can establish?
See, there are a lot of cases who come to me. There are a lot of teenagers who come to me, when because they are not fully in sync with their parents.
Yes.
They don't agree to a lot of stuff what their parents are doing. But
Yes.
here, one thing we need to understand is our parents are the product of their own conditioning. You know,
Absolutely.
so, like we are the product of our own conditioning, they are also the product of their own conditioning and beliefs. For them, they are doing the right thing, because that is the truth, that is the reality for them. They think they are
Yes.
doing it the best. And
Yes.
trust me, all parents do their best,
Best
whatever they're in their own capacity. No, we
capacity.
may
Yeah.
not, as children, I tell them, you may not understand right now, but eventually you are going to understand, because when you going to have your own kids, they are also going to judge you with their own lens, because
Yeah.
no matter what you do, no parent is perfect,
Perfect.
no
Yeah.
relationship is perfect, and you need to grow, evolve with each other. As
Yes.
long as you're respecting each other, you are respecting your boundaries with each other. So I think eventually it is a process, and it is like a sine wave, let me tell you. It goes up, down, up,
Mm.
down. That's what is, life is all about. It When we die, only then it becomes a straight line. Otherwise, it has to
Yes.
be a sine wave. And it's beautiful that way, let me tell you, because if it would have been in only one way, the process would not have been, enjoying or fulfilling. So yes, there are a lot of parents which are doing harm to their children unknowingly, let me tell you. They are not doing it
Not
knowingly,
intentionally. Yes.
because they don't know what they are doing. They're not aware of their awareness.
Yes.
So there are, I mean, I would request all the kids here, because their life and our life was different. We didn't have so much exposure to the world. We didn't have so much exposure to the tools. You can help your parents help with the, the latest tools, what you are seeing around you. You have so much information around you. Right, use that in a right perspective. Help your parents. It doesn't mean just because they are your parents you cannot help them. You
Absolutely.
can also help them. You can give it back to your parents in your own way, because at the end eventually it is your relationship which is at stake.
Yes.
So if you really want a striking balance, and if you really want to be happy in a relationship, sometimes you have to do all the 100% it needs,
Hmm.
to sustain it and to grow it eventually.
Yes. And I've personally also realized this on a very personal note, because as a child you always feel that your parents could have done this better or that better, but
Yeah.
eventually you realize that, as you said, that they are the product of their conditioning, and they might have the best intention at heart. Sometimes they don't know how to deliver those intentions to
Yes.
you, but I think communication is always the key, because there's no difference between what they want for you and what you want for yourself. Both of the people involved want your happiness. The parents also want the
Yes.
child's happiness, and the child also wants his own happiness. It's just that sometimes I think we see happiness through different lens. Sometimes for the
Yes.
child, happiness can be something completely different to what the parent thinks as happiness is. And I think in that dynamics one should communicate that what is it that you are wanting. And I think making them assured that whatever that you're going to do, you are doing it for your own good and you're responsible for your own life. I think that makes the parent really comfortable and a little secure that this child is going to do, at least they are doing for their own good. They are not going on a reverse track and self
Yes.
sabotaging
Yes.
themselves.
Yes. And I would also like to add one thing. Right now, parenting has become a big, marathon race,
Yeah.
because all the parents want to do something or the other, matlab, there is so much competition. There is so much, uh, doing things which, if somebody else is doing something for the child, you also want to do the same thing for
Same
your
thing for the
child.
child.
Yeah. So there's so much competition, like as if it has become an Olympics. We want to qualify for that. So I want to request parents, don't overdo it. Your child, after a certain age, he is an individual. Respect him or her as an individual. Let him take his own decisions or her decisions. They may be wrong, but let them learn from their own decisions, because eventually if they take their own decisions, they are not going to blame you for that, because you are not responsible for that. And ultimately, once they take their own decisions, they are eventually going to learn from them,
From
and
it.
they're going
Yeah.
to come back to you. you
Yes.
know so I would say, the interference from the parents has to be limited. There is a certain degree you need to respect your child as an individual. They should have their own life, because what may seem important to me right now is not important for my child.
Absolutely.
So I need to understand what a 20-year-old, what a 12-year-old would like to do right now. For them,
Yes.
that is the world. For them, watching a action thriller or playing a game, that's where they belong. They feel,
Yes.
they want to have that sense of belonging. So let them, I am telling again, you need to strike a balance, but let them enjoy their life. Let them live their life in the way, because childhood is one blessings we have, where we don't have to take care of a lot of stuff,
Stuff.
and we can enjoy it. Once you
Yes.
enjoy it fully, your whole life is set, because then you don't have regrets in the future, like parents must be having. I see a lot of parents saying to their children, we didn't do this, we didn't do that, like
Yeah.
our life was so tough, our life was so difficult. But they don't understand their children are having challenges at a different level, that it just
Absolutely.
not just the social media is at their disposal, everything becomes easy. In fact, it's
Absolutely.
more challenging for them to actually, objectively see things, because it's too much of information, and
Information.
anything in excess is a damage.
Yes.
It doesn't help. So I think your children need you more right now. They need that human touch. They need that human influence, a realistic influence where they should look forward to. And that's all I would like to
Absolutely.
add.
This reminds me of this one thing. My spiritual lectures that I attend to, they always say that the child also has some kind of destiny, some kind of fate, and some kind of conditioning that the child has received in the previous lifetimes as well. So
Yeah.
don't take everything so personally. Let the child, live, and let things that are coming his way or her way unfold, and let the child learn the lessons, because I think for each one of us as individuals, we've come to this earth school because we have to learn certain lessons and we
Yes.
need to progress. Otherwise, why would I mean the meaning of life becomes completely pointless if we don't have obstacles and we don't have learnings on the way. So, as much as your child appears to you as if it is your own extension, it is not. It is someone, the soul is very old, it's very ancient, and it
Yeah.
has,
Yeah.
it has been coming back and forth lifetime after lifetime for learnings. And I think that is what we should keep in mind, not just in a parent child dynamics, but with every person that we come across. Even I think, as husband and wife, or as partners, or as siblings, we should remember that sometimes we become really overprotective of the other person and we hamper their growth. And we must, I
Yes.
think, at the end of the day, realize that God is the greatest well wisher, even greater than our well wishes. God is
Mm.
there to protect your child, and He will not give him an obstacle if He does not want him to learn from that obstacle and evolve,
Yes.
as a
Yes.
person. So
Yes.
I think
Yes.
that is what really helps me to keep my nerves in balance, because I have a younger sister, and I tend to get really overprotective of her, but that's what I keep reminding myself, that she has her own journey and she needs to learn her lessons. And I think that really helps. So, I think my last question and my concluding question would be, if you can, from your end, tell few practices, like 3 or 4 practices that on a regular basis helps us to build awareness about our own relationship with ourselves, and also makes us understand about the dynamics that we are sharing with the outside world.
So the regular practices would be, you should. I actually, I'm a little bit of a spiritual person, so I like to meditate. I like to do yoga on a regular basis. So that is something, I start my day with. That sets me up for the day, and that's something I really feel. All of us as individuals should do some sort of exercise, and meditation is something which can do wonders to you, which can heal you from inside. Initially it becomes tough who has not done it, so far, but just stick to it, be
Yeah.
consistent about it, like just start with a minute or two, whatever you can do. But if you eventually, when you do it, you can just sit for hours together with yourself, and it
Absolutely.
is it is magical. Trust me, it is magical. And above all, I would say, there's a lot of, we need to keep a check on our self talk. What are we
Hmm.
doing with ourselves? And we need to keep a journal on a daily level,
Absolutely.
so what did we do, what could have been better, or what's
Yes.
your gratitude list. You need to have affirmations on a daily level, just talk to yourself. See, the positive things, the positive thoughts, the positive affirmations. You need to declare which you want to see in future. You need to be, you need to say it in a way that they are already existing.
Yes.
So, and say no to distraction. There are so many things, but I think you can start with 4 or 5 in a go, and that sets you for your life, and eventually it'll come up as you will add up more, because they will
Yes.
be, once they become your habit, it is on an autopilot, then you don't have to
Absolutely.
remind yourself to do it. And above all, I would say decluttering is very important. You need to declutter your mind, because on a regular basis you can take help from different people outside. You can take help from mentors, coaches. You can read about it. You can do certain practices about it. But that's one of the things we should do it regularly. We need to throw the garbage which is inside of us, our fears, our insecurities. You need to work on them.
And I think journaling really helps. It is one of my favorite practices. And I love the fact that journaling is almost like, meditation, but in the written form, because there's so much that you uncover and there's so much that you realize about yourself, which you would have not realized. I always used to think, yeah, I contemplate a lot, I reflect a lot, so I probably don't need journaling. But once I started
Mm,
journaling, it was a game changer because I realized so much of conditioning that I was unconsciously acting through, and I would have not realized, if it was
mm,
not about journaling. And another thing about exercising that I'd like to say is, I think exercising personally is a short way to increase your self esteem on a very easy level. Like, because I've personally realized that if you're feeling underconfident, if you're feeling, if you're one of those people who have low self esteem, I think it's best to start incorporating exercise a day, because once you do it, it releases the hormones that makes you feel good
mm,
naturally. And once you start working on your physical body and you start feeling fitter, mentally also you start feeling fitter, and then you have the capacity to, actually do other things. Because I remember I used to be 96 kgs, and if at that
mm.
time somebody would have told me that, you need to sit for meditation, I was so lazy, my body was so lazy, that I would have not been able to sit for meditation for 1.5, 2 hours every day. But now I do because my body supports it. So a lot of these practices that we want to incorporate, these practices become really easy once we are in a better situation health wise and we are physically fitter. So I think these were some great tips. Thank you so much. It was so lovely having you. And it almost felt like a conversation that we are having over a cup of coffee. And I'd love to actually meet you someday and do that in person and, share the wisdom
I
that
would.
you have with the people. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Survi. Thank you for having me. And it was an absolute honor, to be very honest. When I talked to you 2 days back, that is our first conversation.
Yes.
I didn't know it will happen so fast. We'll be going live or we will be recording something together. But on that note, I wanted to tell you, when I talked to you, it was a delight. I felt, how can a 21-year-old be so, sane? How can be she so clear about things? It was so much, influencing, to be very honest. I was really impressed by your presence and with your thoughts, with your kind of clarity you had, and with the confidence you were talking. And I'm sure you're going to go a long way. I'm definitely sure about that.
Thank you so
So
much.
yeah, so it's genuinely an honor to be with you, to talk to you for we can do it anytime ever again.
Thank you so much. This means a lot. I think I would always, it makes you feel good when you're getting validation from the people in the field that
Mm,
you
yes.
want to, go ahead. And that only reassures your confidence. And I think that did it for me. You did it for me. So thank you so much.